Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Superstars of Wrestling review series, the 16th of May, 1992. Shawn Michaels and Sonny Blaze up first this week. Obviously, Shawn Michaels, a Hall of Famer. Shawn Michaels, at this point, alongside Sherry Martel, months after his heel turned, I think, no, probably January of 1992, so not that soon after the turn. They're trying to position Michaels to be the challenger for Bret Hart's Intercontinental title at this point. Obviously this is a match meant to get Michaels to shine, as are all the matches on Superstars. Some people say they don't like the squash match. I wish there were two competitive matches every hour instead of one. But at the same time, I prefer this over the current day stuff where everything is competitive and no one gets over. It's a personal preference thing. I would rather see an MSG show, Boston Garden show once a month where there's highlight matches and then the rest be squashes. But that doesn't fit with today's television, at least anyway. But anyhow, so Michaels ends up hitting a swinging neck breaker, and then follows with a drop kick. Michaels looks really good here. Goes to the outside, hits a shot like a double axe handle type shot. Michaels does end up using the reverse thrust kick that I guess you could later know in variation as a super kick, but his finish here, as would be in the video game, the Royal Rumble video game that's released at the beginning of '93, is in fact a back suplex, and Sherry Martel very happy with that. Mountie discusses how happy he is to have actually taken the shocking of Sergeant Slaughter so well, being able to shock Sergeant Slaughter. Basically, the Mountie says that Sergeant Slaughter will bow to him. Barry Hardy versus Tatanka up next. Remember, Tatanka still undefeated, goes on to be undefeated for another year plus here. And they really were pushing him hard. Tatanka feels violated because of the stealing of the eagle feathers. He talks about that in a vignette during his match. He's going at it here with, as mentioned, Barry Hardy. Tatanka brings Hardy back into the ring the hard way with a vertical suplex, top rope chops by Tatanka, and Tatanka is able to get a very quick victory using, again, that top rope chop and other things. I honestly think Tatanka could have been something more 92, 93-ish. I remember WrestleMania 9, when they got him ready for the Intercontinental Championship. I actually, as a kid, believed he might have a shot at winning, but he does win this match with the Samoan drop and gets a victory there. The Berserker with Mr. Fuji up next. Berserker facing off against a man that many people would love later, Scott Taylor, Scotty 2 Hottie. Taylor bumps around for him, takes a series of hip tosses and the like, and then Berserker hits him with a few kicks, few knees, tosses him over the top rope, gets the count-out victory. I actually like this from the Berserker in the sense that the count-out victory thing and the force of getting the count-out victory is something different enough that he stands out. We see El Matador up next, talking about fighting the Berserker, talking about fighting Papa Shango, talking about having been around for quite a while. This is an Event Center promo where he basically says he needs the fans' support more than ever. Very few people realize at this time there was at least some consideration given to the fact of giving Santana the World Championship before the year is out. That's a rumor that has later been substantiated. Tito said that he'd never been approached about it, but he had heard the rumors himself. I had spoken with him in the early 2000s about this. Then we see Crush in a junkyard watching a car get crushed. He calls this relaxing. Well, that makes him a weird dude. Jay Sledge and the Repo Man up next. Repo Man, of course, Crusher Khrushchev, Smash of Demolition, Repo Man barely takes his jacket off before laying out his opponent, and it's obvious that he wants to gain whatever victory he can. Obviously, they're pumping him and the British Bulldog. Amazing to me that less than 3 or 4 months later, Bulldog's in the Intercontinental title match and in one of the biggest cards in WWF history. Half grab by the Repo Man, gets a victory, and then he drags him around with the tow rope. Then we see Bret Hart talking about being, I guess, more vulnerable than he wants to be. Says he just barely made it through WrestleMania 8 as the Intercontinental Champion, and being the excellence of execution is hard sometimes. Skinner talks about being able to take out anybody he wants, being a fighter from the Everglades, not being intimidated by anybody. Glenn Ruth against the Big Boss Man is up next. Super simple match, but match that's worth noting because Ruth is one half of what would later become the Headbangers. So that's kind of interesting if you were a Headbangers fan. You can kind of go back and watch this. Boss Man takes him out. Boss Man probably in the top 5 baby faces in the company at the time. I met Boss Man later in the year, and he was a super nice guy. At the time, at least 11, 12-year-old me. Anyway, uppercut by the Boss Man early, and Boss Man goes to the outside, takes his opponent round the circle, hits him with a big boot. Boss Man looks vicious, but in reality is as light as possible, hits the Boss Man sidewalk slam and gets the victory. Nails over the PA with the distorted voice, basically says he's coming for the Boss Man. Boss Man's got to watch his back. Brian Knobbs in your, I guess you'd say, main event or feature match, taking on the Ultimate Warrior. Warrior obviously doesn't do a lot here. Warrior clotheslines both members of the Nasty Boys out of the ring early. Warrior does the basic, shake the ropes and all that. Of course, the Nasty Boys managed by Jimmy Hart here. Nasty Boys double team the Warrior on the outside for a good bit. Choke him with his own jacket, etc. and so forth. And Warrior back in the ring, gets beat down for a few minutes by Knobbs. Knobbs gets him in the corner, starts beating him down again. Sag's allowed to stay at ringside. We never really do find out why. Warrior tries to fight up from underneath. He eventually does get the shoulder tackle and big splash victory, but then the Warrior makes his way outside the ring and starts to collapse with stomach convulsions. We then see the Warrior taken to the back of the arena. Warrior is convulsing after Papa Shango comes out with a skull and goes into a trance with convulsions. Warrior pukes all over office staff. Yes, I kid you not. This is an angle. Puking all over the office staff is the way the Warrior goes about it. The curse of Papa Shango is there. Jason Knight, otherwise known as Jason of ECW fame, later starting the Assault Championship Wrestling independent in the New England area, and Jim Brunzell versus the Beverly Brothers. Here, the Genius is the manager of the Beverly Brothers. Not quite sure why that pairing was ever done. Also, not really sure why. I don't remember seeing many blow-offs of the Beverly Brothers Legion of Doom feud at the time. Of course, by this point, monthly cards at the Boston Garden had been abolished for a couple of years. Hard dropkick by Brunzell on one of the Beverly Brothers. Beverlys are hard to tell apart. I actually like their theme, though. I think it's Wayne Bloom with the double underhook suplex. Tag off to Bo Beverly, and which I believe is Mike Enos. And again, they were the Destruction Crew in the AWA. I think the Beverly Brothers had a lot going on. Their finish, though, Greetings from Shaker Heights, a dangerous finish. They just spike a guy into the mat, and I don't know how nobody ever got hurt with that. We closed the program with more of the event center. Basically, Virgil up and talking about needing the fans' support, also talking about the dangers of Papa Shango, among others. Repo Man talks about wanting to take everyone's stuff and wanting to repossess the British Bulldog, and because he controls him and everything else. That is the close for this program. We'll be back with more right after this.